Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me. Fear will rob you of everything if you let it. Fear doesn't just paralyze your voice. It paralyzes your destiny. I'm here to tell you straight. I was terrified of speaking in front of people. My knees shook, my hands sweated, my heart raced. But I refused to let fear own me. And today I'm living proof you can break through it. And when you do, the world will never forget your voice. The enemy called fear. Listen to me. Fear is the #1 dream killer. Not failure, not rejection, not even poverty. Fear. Fear will paralyze you before you even get started. Fear will have you sitting in the back of the room with all that potential inside of you. All that greatness waiting to come out. But your mouth won't open. Your body won't move. Your hand won't raise. I know, because that was me. I used to let fear dictate everything. My heart would pound so hard before I spoke that I thought everyone could hear it. My palms were sweaty, my throat was dry, and my legs felt like they were going to collapse. And every time that voice in my head would scream, "Don't do it. You're going to mess up." They'll laugh at you, but I came to realize something powerful. Fear is a liar. Fear is not reality. Fear is a story I told myself, and the more I repeated that story, the stronger it became. Let me tell you the truth. Fear is a phantom. It has no weight, no muscle, no strength, unless you feed it. And you know how we feed it? By running from it. Every time you avoid speaking, every time you shrink back, every time you say, "Not today," you hand fear another victory. And fear doesn't get smaller, it grows. Fear grows until it owns you. But the day I decided to stop running, everything changed. I remember saying to myself, "Eric, you can't let fear keep you from your calling. You can't let fear silence your voice." I made a decision to stand up and face it head on. And here's what I discovered. Fear doesn't go away in your head. It only goes away in your action. You can't outthink fear. You can't outpray fear. You can't outplan fear. The only way to kill fear is to move through it, to step on that stage, to open your mouth, to speak even when your voice shakes. Hear me. Fear is not in the room. It's in your head. The audience isn't your enemy. Your own mind is. Those people aren't judging you as hard as you're judging yourself. And once I realized that, I started to fight back. The first time I spoke, I was terrified, but I did it anyway. The second time, I was still nervous, but it was a little easier. The third time, I started to feel stronger. And by the 10th time, fear had lost its grip on me. I need you to catch this. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is taking action in spite of fear. Courage is saying, "Yes, I'm scared. Yes, my knees are shaking. Yes, my voice might crack, but I'm going to do it anyway." And every single time you step into that courage, you weaken fear. Every single time you refuse to run, you gain power. So our E is about one thing: identifying the enemy. Stop pretending fear isn't there. Stop acting like you're just shy or introverted. No, call it what it is, fear. And then declare war on it. From this hour on, I want you to see fear for what it is: a liar, a thief, an enemy to your destiny. You don't negotiate with fear. You don't reason with fear. You destroy it through action. Write this down in your heart. Fear doesn't die in my thoughts. It dies in my steps. The first step is the hardest. Let me be real with you. The first step is the scariest step you will ever take. That moment before you speak, before you step onto that stage, before you open your mouth, that's when fear screams the loudest. That's when every negative thought comes rushing in. What if you forget your words? What if they don't like you? What if you fail? That's the devil's playground right there. The what ifs. And for years, those two little words held me hostage. But here's what I learned. The first step may be the hardest, but it's also the most important. Because once you move, once you open your mouth, once you step forward, fear starts to crumble. Fear feeds on hesitation. Fear feeds on delay. The longer you wait, the heavier it gets. The longer you sit in silence, the more powerful fear becomes. That's why you can't wait until you feel ready. If you wait until you feel confident, you will never move. Let me tell you what courage really is. Courage is speaking when your voice is trembling. Courage is stepping forward when your knees are knocking. Courage is standing tall when your heart feels like it's going to pound out of your chest. Don't you get it? Courage isn't about feeling fearless. It's about acting in spite of the fear. I'll never forget the first time I spoke in front of a crowd. My stomach was in knots. My palms were sweating so much that the mic almost slipped out of my hand. I was so nervous. I could barely breathe. And right before I opened my mouth, I almost ran. I almost walked off that stage. But something in me said, Eric, if you walk away now, you'll be running from this for the rest of your life. So I took that first step. I opened my mouth. And even though my voice cracked, even though my hands shook, I kept talking. And guess what? I didn't die. Nobody laughed me off the stage. In fact, people listened, people clapped, and that moment changed everything. Here's the principle. Action builds confidence. Every time you take the step, no matter how shaky, you get stronger. The first time you might stumble, but the second time you'll stand taller. The third time your voice will get louder. And by the 10th time, people will look at you and say, wow, you're a natural. But what they don't see is that behind the scenes, you fought fear tooth and nail. So stop waiting. Stop saying, when I'm ready, then I'll do it. You'll never be ready. Confidence doesn't come before action. Confidence is created by action. Write that down. Stop waiting for confidence. Build it by taking action. Today, I need you to take that first step. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you think the timing is perfect. Right now. Because the first step is not just the hardest. It's the most important. And if you can conquer the first step, you can conquer them all. Preparation builds power. Let me break it down for you. Fear shows up the loudest when you are unprepared. That's the truth. When I first started speaking, part of the reason I was terrified was because deep down, I knew I wasn't ready. I was trying to wing it. I thought I could just show up and let it flow. And when I stood in front of that crowd, I could feel it. I wasn't solid. I wasn't confident. And fear smelled it on me like blood in the water. But the day I got serious about preparation, the game changed. Preparation builds power. Preparation gives you confidence before you even open your mouth. When you know your material, when you've rehearsed it, when you've lived it, fear has no room to operate. I'm telling you right now, the enemy of fear is preparation. When I started writing my speeches out, when I practiced in the mirror, when I recorded myself and listened back, something shifted. The nerves were still there, but I wasn't frozen anymore. Why? Because I was ready. I wasn't guessing. I wasn't hoping it would work out. I knew it would work out because I had put in the time. You can't cheat preparation. You can't fake confidence. You've got to earn it. Here's what I want you to understand. Preparation is not just about memorizing words. It's about owning your message. When you rehearse, when you study, when you practice, the words become a part of you. They're no longer lines on a paper. They're in your blood. They're in your bones. You don't just say them, you live them. And when you live what you speak, people feel it. Listen to me. People ask me all the time, E.T., how do you sound so confident when you speak? Simple. I prepared. I didn't just show up. I studied. I practiced. I repeated my message until I couldn't forget it if I tried. And that preparation gave me authority. When I stepped on stage, fear didn't get to ride with me because I had already put in the work. So here's the command. Stop winging it. Stop hoping for the best. Stop waiting until the last minute. If you want to conquer fear of public speaking, your preparation has to be relentless. Write your speech. Say it out loud. Record yourself. Listen to your tone. Rehearse in front of a mirror, in front of your family, in front of anyone who will listen. Drill it until your message is so clear that no amount of fear can shake it loose. Write this down. When I'm prepared, fear has no seat at the table. The truth is, fear is loudest when you're empty. But when you're full of preparation, when you're overflowing with readiness, fear doesn't stand a chance. So don't just prepare once, prepare every single day. That's how you build unshakable power. Reframing the battlefield. Listen to me carefully. Your fear isn't really about the audience. It's about your focus. When I was terrified of public speaking, I thought the stage was the battlefield. I thought the enemy was out there, the people, their eyes, their judgment. But I was wrong. The battlefield was in my mind, and I was losing because my focus was in the wrong place. Every time I stepped on stage, I was thinking about me. What if I mess up? What if I look stupid? What if I forget my lines? Notice something. It was all about me, and that's why fear had power. Because fear grows when you make yourself the center of attention. But the day I shifted my focus, the day I said, this isn't about me. This is about them. Everything changed. Hear me. When you walk on that stage, you're not there to perform. You're there to serve. The audience is not there to tear you down. They're there to receive something from you. And if your mindset is, how do I look? You'll freeze. But if your mindset is, how can I help? You'll rise. That shift took me from fear to freedom. I started walking on stage with a new perspective. I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to impact you. And when that became my mission, the fear started to fade because service is stronger than self-consciousness. Impact is greater than insecurity. Hey, listen to me. If you're afraid of public speaking, it's because you're still making it about you. Stop performing. Stop auditioning. Stop waiting for applause. You're not on stage to be approved. You're on stage to deliver value. You're on stage to change lives. That's the reframing you need. No? And once I embraced that mindset, I felt unstoppable. Even when my words weren't perfect, even when I stumbled, it didn't matter because the people still got what they needed. They didn't care if my voice cracked. They cared if my words spoke to their soul. Write this down. The stage is not a place to be judged. It's a place to serve. If you can make that shift, if you can walk into every room, every classroom, every stage with the mindset of service instead of self, you'll kill fear before it even opens its mouth. Stop performing. Start transforming. That's how you reframe the battlefield. Exposure therapy. Let me be clear. You don't beat fear in one round. You don't step on stage once, conquer it, and then it's gone forever. No! Fear is stubborn. Fear doesn't pack up and leave after one battle. Fear tests you over and over again. And the only way to truly beat it is through repetition, through exposure. Listen, when I was first starting out, I didn't just wait for the perfect stage. I didn't wait for the big opportunity. I took every single chance I could find to speak. I spoke in small groups. I spoke in classrooms. I spoke in front of my friends. I spoke in churches, in gyms, in locker rooms. If 3 people showed up, I spoke like it was 3,000. Why? Because every time I stood up and opened my mouth, I starved fear a little more. That's what you don't understand. Fear can't survive when you face it daily. Fear only thrives when you avoid it. And most people live in avoidance. They say, I'll speak when I feel ready. Or, I'll do it when the big chance comes. No, the big chance is built on small chances. The stage that terrifies you becomes home only if you keep stepping on it. I'll be real with you. I bombed speeches. I messed up. I lost my place. I had moments where I felt humiliated. But instead of quitting, I went right back. Because I realized something, every failure was actually progress. Every shaky delivery was training. Every stumble was sharpening me. And the more I exposed myself to the fire, the more comfortable I became in the flames. You want to kill fear? Put yourself in positions where you have no choice but to speak. Volunteer. Raise your hand. Say yes when your boss asks. Say yes when your teacher asks. Say yes when your community asks. Don't hide from it. Seek it out. Because repetition is what transforms fear into familiarity. And once something is familiar, it's no longer frightening. Write this down. Fear starves when you face it every single day. You don't need one big victory. You need small, consistent battles. One after another, day after day, until fear no longer recognizes your name. And that only happens if you expose yourself to it constantly. That's the formula. That's the grind. That's how you build confidence that no stage, no audience, no spotlight can take from you. Embracing mistakes. Hey, listen to me. One of the biggest reasons people stay afraid of public speaking is because they're terrified of messing up. You think if you forget a word, if you lose your place, if you stumble over a sentence, it's over. You think the crowd is going to laugh, boo, and never take you seriously again. Let me free you from that lie. Mistakes don't destroy you. They develop you. I've bombed before. I've lost my flow. I've said the wrong thing. I've had moments where I wanted the floor to open up and swallow me whole. But here's the difference. I didn't let those mistakes define me. I let them refine me. Every single mistake was a teacher. Every failure carried a lesson that made me sharper, stronger, and more fearless the next time. You hear me? Perfection is a trap. Fear thrives when you chase perfection because perfection is impossible. If you're waiting for the day you can speak flawlessly, you'll never open your mouth. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be authentic. You need to be real. People don't connect with perfection. They connect with truth. And sometimes truth comes out messy. Sometimes truth comes out stumbling, but truth still hits the heart. All right, let me give it to you straight. Your audience doesn't care if you mess up. They care if you quit. They care if you give them everything you've got, mistakes and all. Some of my most powerful moments as a speaker came right after I stumbled because the audience saw my humanity. They saw I wasn't a robot. They saw I was just like them. And that connection was deeper than any perfect speech I could have given. So stop running from mistakes. Stop fearing failure. Embrace it. If your voice cracks, keep talking. If you lose your place, keep pushing. If you stumble, laugh and keep moving. Don't let mistakes make you smaller. Let them make you stronger. Write this down. Stop chasing perfection. Chase progress. Every time you mess up and keep going, you weaken fear's grip. Every time you push through an imperfection, you gain another level of courage. The stage doesn't belong to the perfect. It belongs to the persistent. And if you're willing to embrace mistakes instead of avoiding them, you'll realize that fear has nothing left to hold over you. Owning the stage. Listen, there comes a moment when the stage no longer feels like a battlefield. It feels like home. But you don't get there by luck, and you don't get there overnight. You get there by fighting through every ounce of fear, every shaky moment, every mistake, until the stage that once made you tremble now bows to your presence. I remember the shift. At first, I was just trying to survive. My only goal was to make it through a speech without collapsing. But over time, something happened. The more I spoke, the more I prepared, the more I embraced my mistakes, the more comfortable I became. And one day I stepped on stage, looked out at the crowd, and instead of shaking, I smiled. Instead of feeling fear, I felt power. That's when I knew I didn't just speak on the stage. I owned it. Owning the stage is about more than words. It's about energy. It's about presence. It's about walking onto that platform like you belong there. Because you do. Fear will try to convince you that the audience has the power, that you're just a guest. No! When you step up there, the stage is yours. The mic is yours. The moment is yours. You're not borrowing it. You're claiming it. Here's what I learned. Confidence isn't about being the loudest person in the room. It's about being the most certain. When you own your story, when you believe in your message, when you walk with conviction, the audience will feel it. They'll trust you. They'll lean in because ownership is magnetic. And let me be real. The stage will give you what you demand from it. If you walk timid, it will swallow you. If you walk bold, it will elevate you. The stage reflects the energy you bring. So when I walk up there now, I'm not apologizing for my voice. I'm not questioning my worth. I'm declaring with every step, I belong here. I'm supposed to be here. And I'm about to give you everything I've got. Write this down. Fear leaves when confidence moves in. Owning the stage is not arrogance. It's responsibility. You've been given a platform to speak life, to change lives, to impact people. That platform doesn't belong to fear. It belongs to purpose. And once you step into that ownership, fear doesn't just shrink. It disappears. So hear me. Stop renting your voice. Stop apologizing for your presence. Stop standing small. Walk on every stage, every classroom, every meeting room with authority. Own it. Because when you own the stage, fear no longer owns you. Listen to me. This last hour isn't about me anymore. It's about you. I've told you how I faced fear, how I took shaky steps, how I prepared, how I reframed, how I embraced mistakes, how I exposed myself to every chance to speak until the stage became my home. But none of that matters if you don't act on it. This is your moment. This is your turn. You've been hiding too long. You've been letting fear silence you, letting fear keep you in the back row. Letting fear rob you of opportunities that were meant for you. Enough. You can't keep waiting for the perfect time because there is no perfect time. You can't keep waiting to feel confident because confidence doesn't come first. Action does. Today is the day you stop running. Today is the day you step forward. Not next week, not next month, today. Because every time you delay, fear grows stronger. Every time you shrink back, you give fear another victory. And I'm telling you right now, fear doesn't deserve another victory in your life. Hey, I need you to open your mouth. I need you to raise your hand. I need you to walk to the front of the room. I need you to take the mic and speak. Will it be scary? Yes. Will your heart race? Yes. Will your voice shake? Probably. But that's the point. You speak anyway. Because the moment you do, you'll realize what I realized. Fear has no real power. It only had the power you gave it. Write this down. The world is waiting for my voice. There are people out there who need what only you can say. There are lives that will change because of your story, your experience, your truth. But they'll never hear it if you let fear keep you quiet. Don't take your voice to the grave. Don't let fear bury your gift. I want you to think about this. When it's all said and done, when your life is over, do you want to look back and say, I let fear silence me? Or do you want to say, I stepped up, I spoke out, and I gave everything I had? The choice is yours. Fear will still knock on your door, but today you don't have to answer. Today you slam the door shut. Today you take your stage. Today you speak. Because this isn't just about public speaking. It's about life. If you can conquer this fear, you can conquer anything. If you can own your voice, you can own your destiny. So get up, get out there. And don't wait for permission. Don't wait for approval. Don't wait for the fear to disappear. Move now. Speak now. Live now. The world is waiting. The stage is waiting. Your future is waiting. The only question left is, what are you waiting for? The world is waiting for your voice. Don't let fear silence it. Stop scrolling. Stop waiting. Stop thinking about it. This is your time to step into the fire. If you felt this message, don't just listen. Apply it. Don't just watch. Move on it. Move. Share this with someone who's letting fear control them. Speak up today. No matter how small the stage. Comment below. Tell me your first step. Then take it. Because fear won't leave until you do. And the world is waiting for your voice.